Namaskaram. My name is S. Ashok Kumar. Welcome to my channel. In the last part, I explained about the monosaccharides and disaccharides, and this part I am going to explain about polysaccharides. Before going to tell different types of polysaccharides, first I will define what are polysaccharides. Polysaccharides are the polymer of monosaccharide residues linked through glycosidic bond. Okay, these polysaccharides actually two types. One is homopolysaccharides, second one heteropolysaccharides. What is the definition of homopolysaccharide? These polysaccharides made up of only one type of sugar or monosaccharide. Heteropolysaccharides somewhat complex. They are made up of more than one type of sugar. You can understand. I will explain. Now first I am going to tell about the homopolysaccharides. Homopolysaccharides. So in our NCERT textbook, in this biomolecules, only they discussed about only homopolysaccharides. That means in our syllabus there is no heteropolysaccharides. In NEET exams, no question will come from the heteropolysaccharide. That is why I will explain detailedly about homopolysaccharides. So, what is the definition of homopolysaccharides? Homopolysaccharides are made up of only one type of monosaccharides. What are the examples for homopolysaccharides? That include starch, glycogen, cellulose, chitin and inulin. There are 5 examples comes under homopolysaccharide. Now first I am going to explain about the very famous one, that is a starch. Okay. So actually what is the function of the starch? The starch belongs to stored polysaccharide. Stored polysaccharide where? In plants. Okay. The next point is, in the structure of the starch, it consists of two parts, two components present in the starch. Those include amylose. The second one, amylopectin. So, amylose and amylopectin together contribute the starch. Among these amylose and amylopectin, the dominant portion, more than over 60 to 70% of the starch contributed by the amylopectin, or 20 to 25% contributed by the amylose. What I mean? So, what is the fundamental difference? Amylose is the linear homopolysaccharide. Amylopectin is a branched polysaccharide. First, I will explain about the amylose. Okay. I will make the structure based on this one. We will make the contributions. What are the points? So, if you carefully observe me, this is the pyranose C. This one. What is this sugar? This is the alpha D glucopyranose. Okay. This is the first carbon. This is the fourth carbon. Here it is the OH group. Okay. Now all are OH groups. One more I am writing C. This is the one, CH2O. Same thing, alpha D glucopyranose. Here, this is the first carbon, fourth carbon. Here OH group, this is the OH group. Okay? So here what is happening? First carbon OH group, fourth carbon H group. If you remove automatically dehydration, what is the name of this bond? That is a alpha 1,2,4 glycosidic bond. Okay, now clear? One more sugar I will make it. Polysaccharide now this one, that is why. C. Same thing. CH2OH. This is the first carbon, this is the fourth carbon, OH. Same. Second sugar, first carbon, functional carbon OH group, fourth carbon OH, OH, water. Remaining oxygen C, this one. Same bond, alpha 1,2,4 glycosidic bond. So here see this one. From here to here you observe that is a disaccharide. Yes or no? If you observe from here to here, this is a trisaccharide. Polysaccharide means what? It's a polymer of monosaccharide residue. Polymer, so many. That is why how these trisaccharide we can represent as a polysaccharide. Very simple way. See this one, N. N means so many number, even thousands of the sugars you can find, you can observe in the middle. Now you can call this is a polysaccharide. So what is the definition of the amylose? This is the structure of the amylose. Amylose is the linear polymer of which sugar? Alpha D glucopyranose. Linked through which bond? That is by alpha 1,2,4 glycosidic bond. So amylose is a linear polymer of alpha D glucopyranose linked through alpha 1,2,4 glycosidic bond. Now you understood this amylose belongs to homopolysaccharide because it's made up of only one sugar, that is a glucose. The one more very important point with reference of the polysaccharide, in this polysaccharide, if you observe, this is the first sugar, yes or no? This one is the last sugar. This first sugar you can call it as the left hand. Last sugar you can call it as a right hand with reference of the polysaccharide. Left hand or first monosaccharide, this is a functional carbon engaged with the glycosidic bond. And indirectly meaning what? In the left hand, there is no free functional group. No free functional group means what? It cannot react. Cannot react means what? It is a non-reducing. If you take the last sugar, this is a functional carbon. This functional carbon is a free. Free means reactive. Reactive means reducing. That is why one important point here for the polysaccharides, like in a polysaccharide, left end is a non-reducing end because of the absence of free functional group. Right end is called as a reducing end because of the presence of free functional group. This is about the amylose. Next I am going to explain about the amylopectin. After amylose, now I am going to explain about the amylopectin. What I said, amylose is a linear polymer. Amylopectin is a branched polymer. Same. Branched polymer of alpha D glucopyranose. I will make you understand. Here, same thing I am writing here. See this one. This one. By seeing, you should understand what is the sugar it is. Alpha D glucopyranose. First carbon, fourth carbon. First carbon, fourth carbon. First carbon, fourth. So this bond is a alpha 1 to 4. Okay, na? Just I wrote. Here this one is a CH2OH. Sixth carbon, CH2OH. For example, when we are drawing the amylopectin, what I said, amylopectin is a branched now. For example, for your understanding, if I want to make a branch from this carbon, anywhere you can start. N, so many. So, if you start, this is the same sugar, alpha D glucopyranose only. Because this is a homopolysaccharide now. CH2OH. First carbon, 1, 4. Okay. So, here, when it want to form the branch from one particular sugar, this is the sixth carbon, this is the first carbon. First carbon OH group, sixth carbon H. Water gone. So that now see this one. This is a oxygen. What is the name of this bond? This is a alpha 1,2,6 glycosidic bond. This bond is called as a branch point. BRANCH. Branch point. That is why what you need to understand while you are studying the amylopectin structure. This amylopectin is a branched polymer of alpha D glucopyranose linked through alpha 1 to 4 glycosidic bond. Yeah, except at a branch point only alpha 1 to 6 glycosidic bond. This is the structure of amylose and amylopectin. Then very important point with respect to the starch, starch gives dark blue color, deep blue color with iodine. That I will explain. Starch gives the blue color with iodine. The reason is, as we know, starch consists of amylose and amylopectin. This amylose is a part of the starch. This amylose shows the one helical-like structure. Helix-like structure. Because it's a linear, it can undergo folding like a secondary structure, helix. Because of the helix formation, what happened? Iodine molecule go and hold in between the helix. Because of that helix holding the iodine, that is the reason that gives the deep blue color. That is why starch gives the blue color with iodine, because starch structure consists of helical structure. In a deep sense, what you need to understand, the helix is formed by the amylose. Helix is nothing but secondary structure. A secondary structure or a helix structure of the amylose hold the iodine that is responsible for giving the blue color with the iodine. These are some important points regarding the starch. After starch, under homopolysaccharide, I am going to tell about the glycogen. So, what is the function of glycogen? Like starch, glycogen also stored homopolysaccharide, but in case of animals. Okay? That is why glycogen is also called as a animal starch. Okay? So, comes to the structure of the glycogen. In simple way, I will tell you. The structure of glycogen is like amylopectin. So when I said the structure of glycogen is like amylopectin, what you need to understand? This glycogen is also branched. So it is also branched polymer or homopolymer of alpha D glucopyranose linked through alpha 124 glycosidic bond, and at branch point alpha 126 glycosidic bond. Because I already explained the structure of amylopectin. Okay? The next polysaccharide, that is a cellulose. That is about the cellulose. So, cellulose having its own importance. What is the function of cellulose? Cellulose belongs to structural or cell wall or fibrous polysaccharide. Okay, now last two, starch and glycogen belongs to stored polysaccharide. Cellulose belongs to structural polysaccharide. First point is that cellulose is the most abundant carbohydrate. Okay? The next point, the structure of the cellulose is like, it is a linear or unbranched polymer of beta D glucopyranose. So this is a different. In starch and glycogen, there is alpha D glucopyranose. In cellulose, there is a beta D glucopyranose linked through beta 124 glycosidic bond. The same bond you can find in the lactose also. Lactose also consists of beta 124 glycosidic bond. The next important point about the cellulose cannot give blue color with iodine. Why? This starch gives a blue color with iodine because starch structure consists of helical structure. This cellulose cannot give the blue color with iodine because lack of helical structure. So what you need to understand, because of lack of helical structure, that cellulose cannot hold the iodine. That is why it cannot give the blue color with the iodine. These are some important points you need to remember about the cellulose. The next homopolysaccharide, that is a chitin. Same. Like cellulose, chitin is also belongs to structural or cell wall or fibrous polysaccharide. After cellulose, chitin is a second most abundant Second most abundant carbohydrate, as we know, it is present as exoskeleton of invertebrates. When I said this chitin is present as exoskeleton of invertebrates, that is which phylum? That is arthropods. Then next comes to its structure. It is a linear polymer of beta D NAG. This is a very important. So many times asked in the exam. NAG means what? N-acetyl glucosamine. This is just modified glucose. That's all. So linear polymer. This is a beta D glucose. This is a beta D N-acetyl glucosamine linked through same bond. Beta 1 to 4 glycosidic bond. Next, last polysaccharide, homopolysaccharide, that is a inulin. Don't confuse with the insulin. Inulin is a polysaccharide, insulin is a polypeptide. This inulin is a polymer of fructose. This point important for the exam. The next important is like this is a shortest homopolysaccharide. That is the one important. Next, what is the another commercial importance of the inulin? This inulin used in the detection of GFR, glomerular filtration rate. That is why here I discussed about the 5 different types of homopolysaccharide. Those include a starch, glycogen, cellulose, chitin, inulin. After homopolysaccharides, now I am going to explain about the heteropolysaccharides. What is the definition of heteropolysaccharide? Made up of more than one type of monosaccharide. Here this I am going to explain about the peptidoglycan, because in NCERT textbook so many times this peptidoglycan will come. So this peptidoglycan also called as a murine. Like cellulose, chitin, this is also belongs to structural polysaccharide. What is the function of peptidoglycan? It is a cell wall of bacteria. Okay. So when we are telling about the structure of peptidoglycan, first we need to understand what is the basic unit of peptidoglycan. The basic unit of peptidoglycan consists of one first sugar, N-acetyl muramic acid. That is a shortcut to NAM. That associates the NAG, N-acetyl glucosamine. Here you can understand this is the one sugar, this is the different sugar. That is why this is comes under heteropolysaccharides. One point. This NAM and NAG linked to one bond, that is a beta 1 to 4 glycosidic bond. Remember. Along with that one, this NAM associated with the 4 amino acid. They are together called as a tetrapeptide. Here, what we need to mention here, I said in the amino acid, most common amino acids are L amino acids. Here, along with the L amino acid, this consists of tetrapeptide and D amino acids also. That's a very rare aspect. Okay, this one. These two total together is called as the repeating unit of peptidoglycan. Same thing. This is another brick. This is another. Like that, you can arrange one by one, side by side. After making this repeating unit should links with the next one. See this one. Here one of the amino acid go and associated with here one of the amino acid. Mean this brick is links with this subunit through peptide bond. This peptide bond formation mediated by enzyme transpeptidase. Don't confuse with the peptidyl transferase. Peptidyl transferase enzyme mediates the formation of peptide bond during protein synthesis. But transpeptidase enzyme mediates the formation of peptide bond during peptidoglycan synthesis only in bacteria. Okay, the prokaryote. Like this unit is linked with another one. This is a peptide bond. Like one by subunits are attaching. Finally, this subunit associated with the before one. Results the formation of a complex structure is a peptidoglycan. As we know, this is the cell wall present outside the cell membrane. So in the cell this is the cell membrane, this is the cell wall. The space present between the cell membrane and cell wall is called as a periplasmic space. Here, what is the important point to remember, this particular beta 1,2,4 glycosidic bond present between the NAM and NAG, that is a breakdown by the enzyme lysozyme. Lysozyme, as we know, don't confuse with the lysosome. I didn't tell lysosome. I said the lysozyme. Lysozyme is an enzyme present in the body fluids like a saliva, tears, mucus and colostrum. What is the importance of lysozyme? Lysozyme causes the breakdown of the cell wall of bacteria by breaking beta 1,2,4 glycosidic bond present between the NAM and NAG. The second and the last important point to remember for peptidoglycan is transpeptidase. This enzyme only responsible for the formation of peptide bond during the peptidoglycan synthesis. This transpeptidase inhibited by antibiotic, that is a penicillin. So when we use the penicillin antibiotic, penicillin diffuses into the periplasmic space. Penicillin gone inactivates the transpeptidase. When the transpeptidase inactivated, automatically what happened? There is no peptide bond formation. Directly there is no peptidoglycan synthesis, cell wall synthesis. When there is no cell wall, outermost one is the cell membrane. Thereby bacteria is very prone to die, very susceptible to die. That is why penicillin, the target for transpeptidase, the target for the penicillin is the transpeptidase. These 2 points and about the explanation, you should remember about the peptidoglycan. Explained the overall effects of the monosaccharides, disaccharides and the polysaccharides till now. In the next part, I will explain the last biomolecule, that is about the lipids. Till now, if you understand the overall concept, you can like and share these videos to your friend and subscribe our channel. If you have any doubts about the chapter biomolecules, you can comment below. Definitely, I will respond to your questions. Thank you.